Addison in Philadelphia. How do you address weak performance with a team member that is the owner's adult kid without jeopardizing your own future as a leader in the company? And how do you make sure the rest of the team doesn't feel like the owner's kid is receiving preferential treatment? You probably can't do it without jeopardizing your leadership. Because if the owner is a crummy leader to the point they are allowing nepotism, allowing their adult kid to be in their half-butt doing stuff, then you try to do something about that, it's probably going to end up on you. So, if the owner is not a type of person that takes care of this, the owner's probably not the type of person that's going to appreciate you trying to take care of it. So, you're probably leaving. But let's try some ideas before you go. All right? Because I don't think this is going to work, but it might work. I think you have to sit down with the owner, because the problem is not the kid. And the problem is not the morale in the company. Those are the symptoms. The problem is weak leadership at the top. So when you run a family business, the dumbest thing you can do is put family members in places that don't do their job, that can't do their job or won't do their job. And so Cousin Eddie works in shipping and smokes pot all day and is a danger to everyone with a forklift. This is stupid, right? But nobody does anything about it because he's a cousin. And, he's that cousin. So we let him get away with it, And the leadership that won't deal with that crap is weak. Anytime you have incompetence that is sanctioned incompetence inside of an organization, whether it's a family member or not, when leadership sanctions incompetence, allows incompetence to continue without any accountability for being repaired, then you damage the morale of the rest of the team. It destroys unity. It destroys loyalty. And so you have to address it. Now, your only shot is you are what we call leading up, meaning you're going to go into the owner's office and try to lead the owner to do something about this, because you can't really just go do it. I mean, you're probably not in a position to go in and just go, hey, Cousin Eddie, you can't smoke pot there, okay? That doesn't work. Or, hey, kid, you got to get your work done, because they're probably not reporting to you. And so if they are, then that's a different issue. But, maybe not even. So I think you go sit down with the owner and go, hey, I'm one of your leaders. You've asked me to be in this role. I'm honored by that. And so I am obligated to bring you issues that are above my pay grade, and I need your help with this. We have an employee here who is not competent. They're not getting their work done in an area, and the rest of the employees are the rest of the team is looking at this employee who's underperforming, and by sanctioning the underperforming employee, we're demoralizing the rest of the team. And that employee happens to be your kid, which makes this a real weird conversation for me. I don't want to have it with you, but I feel like I'm obligated to talk to you about it. I'm willing to help with it, but I don't want to be the bad guy. How can we work together to solve this? If the owner says, yes, you're right, I've observed that, and I don't really know what to do about it, then I can tell you what to do about it, okay? I don't know the size of your company, but at least if it's a small company, it's you and the owner. If it's a larger company, larger meaning 50 people or more, it might be 2 other senior leaders. And you say, bring Junior in and appoint me and 2 others to be Junior's mentor. And Junior goes to breakfast with us every Friday morning, and we will mentor his little butt. And we will get him going and teach him a thing called work ethic, and you give us the power to hold him accountable for performance and to love him well as your son. And we will love him well, and we will be kind to him, but we will be straight with him, and we will, try to elevate him from incompetence to competence in whatever it is, wherever it is he's dropping the ball, and put a group of people around him to disciple him or mentor him or whatever phrase you want to use in that regard, because that's what's going on. No one is addressing this, and the sad thing is Junior may not even know he's incompetent. He's just fat, dumb, and stupid and has been his whole life. I mean, he's just been walking through like everything's okay. Quote from Animal House, right? And so, no way to go through life, son, right? And so, yeah, you got to, he's just wandering along, got no idea. And so, somebody calls him on it, he may be shocked and he may look at it as a growth opportunity. This thing could turn out great. But if the owner says, well, that's just the way it is, he's my son, look for a job. It's going to be a mess. And you don't be captain of the ship as it goes sideways and on the rocks, and the rest of the crew's out there swimming in the sharks, and you saw it coming and you didn't do nothing about it and you stayed. No, you tried. So it's all in how the owner reacts to you, gently and kindly asking how you can serve and how you can help and what we can do together to get Junior up without this getting on me. So when my son Daniel, who's the president of Ramsey now, came to work here, the first job he had was he was selling radio ads, which sucks as a job. It's horrible. And he reported to the sales manager, who reported to the VP of broadcast, who reported to the division executive VP, who reported to me. So I didn't have any direct contact with Daniel. There was a lot of people teaching him sales, helping him with sales, working with him, and he had good work ethic and he cared. He was brand new and he wasn't good at first, and then later he got good at it. And later on, as he moved into leadership several years later, and we thought, okay, there's a possibility, and we said it out loud, that someday he might move into senior leadership here. Someday he might even run this place. And what we did then was we took 3 of our top leaders in the whole organization out of our operating board and formed a Daniel committee. And those 3 men mentored him. And I have breakfast with him every Tuesday morning, and I still do, to continue the mentoring as well. But those 3 guys were his sounding board. They still, to this day, even now, though he's now the president and he's now their boss, they still go to breakfast every Friday morning. And he loves those men. They love him. They've spoken into his life. He was not incompetent at any stage in the process, but that's part of the reason is we put an accountability system around a sensitive team member called a family member, so that we were able to grow and push and pull in that way. And let me just tell you, 100% of the time, the rest of the team is going to resent the owner's children working in the business unless they work twice as hard as everybody else. I told our kids growing up from the time they're 10 years old, if you're going to do something around Ramsey, you got to work twice as hard as everybody else to be respected, because they immediately assume that you're a doofus. And you came in here and got a doofus job because your dad's the boss, your dad owns the place. And so to be respected, you got to bring it. And they have. They've all 3 done that. So very proud of them. But you don't have a choice. The poor kid, he starts at a deficit with the team. He has to work twice as hard. He's got to be really good at his skills. He's got to hone his skills all the time. He's got to be reading. He's got to be growing. He's got to be getting better. He's got to be a growth machine, or he's not going to be respected. It's that simple. And he's sure not going to be respected if you leave him in this role. It's going to crash and burn. So, but you can't fix it. You've got to ask the owner to fix it. You can help the owner fix it. But unless the owner is willing to do something about it, it's not going to get anything but worse. And the problem is he allowed it in the first place, which tells me I don't know if he's going to do anything about it. That's what's scaring me. So you got to look at that. We'll figure out what's going on from there. That's how that stuff works. This is the EntreLeadership Podcast.